Welcome to Building the Future, hosted by Kevin Horick. With millions of listeners a month, Building the Future has quickly become one of the fastest rising programs, with a focus on interviewing startups, entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, and more. The radio and TV show airs in 15 markets across the globe, including Silicon Valley. For full showtimes, past episodes, or to sponsor the show, please visit buildingthefutureshow.com.
Welcome back to the show. Today we have Maxime and Pola from Kantree.io. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you guys on the show. I think what you guys are doing in the space is actually really quite innovative and cool. But maybe before we get into that, let's get to know each one of you a little bit better. And maybe Maxime, do you want to maybe give us a bit of a background on yourself, kind of where you grew up, where you went to school, and how you got to Kantree?
Yeah, sure. So grew up is an interesting story. I will make it short, but I actually grew up around the world. So like 5 different countries before I was 8 years old. Yeah. So like, kind of a very mixed cultural background, but French, from France originally, like both my parents are French. And so came back to France for my studies, I have a master in computer science.
Very cool.
And worked for a few years in some startups, freelance also. And then in the end, like with some friends, we really wanted to create like our own company, work on our own project. We really had this idea about like making like Kantree, our product, that we had something in mind. And so we started working on it like 4 years ago now. And that's how we end up here.
Very cool. Paula, do you want to do the same?
Yeah, I'm complicated as well.
That's awesome.
Well, I was born in Krakow, Poland. Then I lived in Chicago for many years, and I ended up in Paris.
Very
so
cool.
Virtually Polish American living in France. And I studied English, and then I studied marketing communications. And this is what I do here for Kantree: community management, content, marketing communications.
Very cool. So what exactly is Kantree, and why did you guys decide to start it up?
So Kantree is like a collaboration and work management platform. So the idea is to provide a very easy to use tool, which allows you to collaborate with your team. So between team members, when you need to work together, right now, usually it's either like some Excel spreadsheet, emails, some people will already use some kind of online tools, but either like a lot of people who already use these kind of tools, they feel the frustration and the frustration in the limitation of existing tools. That was our feeling. Like we were already past the stage of spreadsheet, email, and stuff like that, really already on a tool. But we felt like you had to buy in the vision of the people like creating the tool, basically. You know, everybody has different ways to organize themselves. And we felt like a lot of the existing solution, it was everybody was giving you their version of how they wanted you to organize yourself. And either you agreed with them and then fine, you like the tool, or you felt like frustration there and you really couldn't fully use their solution, and you really falling back on spreadsheet again and stuff like that. So it was not satisfying. It was not satisfying at all. And so our vision was to say like, okay, like, you know, we were a bunch of programmers. Like I come from like I said, computer background. So we're a bunch of programmers, and for us, it's always easy to say like, okay, let's build our own tool, you know.
Right.
That's not really a solution. Like everybody can say like, you know, and so we were like, okay, perhaps for us, we can say that, but we wish that everybody had the same opportunity to say like, okay, now I want to make my own version of stuff, and I want to be able to organize myself as I want, but still do it on the computer, online, being able to collaborate at the same time, and everything will be like easy. And I don't really have to know, like, I don't want to know programming language. So that's not the point. And so we had this vision of create a like super flexible tool, which really allow people to organize themselves as they want, and so organization is not only like task management or this kind of stuff. Organization, like working together as a group of people, is also like sharing knowledge and like sharing, like be able to synchronize yourself in processes and stuff like that. Like there's many workflows, like there's many stuff to take into account. And so really wanted to think about something which was like flexible enough to allow like these many ways of working. So really thought about like what is work, what are the concepts behind work, and all these kind of things. And we end up with Cantri. So our frustration was really like we didn't want to simply use spreadsheet and emails, like that's like we feel is not enough, like that's not a proper solution to organizing work. And at the same time, existing solution were feeling like too limited. Not like we really had to completely buy into the vision of somebody else, and not being able to work the way we actually wanted based on the specifics of our business and stuff like that. And so we went to create Kantree, which allows you, whatever your business, whatever your area of work, whether you work in marketing, in sales, in product development, in like any HR or whatever, the things you need to work together are mostly the same, like you need to share information, you need to synchronize yourself, all this stuff. So that's what Kantree allows you to do.
Interesting. Yeah, like I was playing with the tool earlier, and it's interesting because you can very much use it as simple as you want, where it's just simple little card-based type things, but then you can also get it to be really quite robust and advanced, right? With tagging and moving stuff into different columns and tagging different people and setting dates and reminders and stuff like that, which I thought was really interesting, because when I've played with a lot of these tools or used these tools when I've been doing software design and development, you're right, you do hit these walls that you either have to find a new tool or conform to however the tool kind of tells you how to use their software. And so for you guys to build something that allows me to build in my own workflow is really unique, that in my own personal opinion.
That was really our vision indeed. Like we really wanted something like people could feel like, okay, at familiar in a way, like you can start easily, like you said, but then, you go deeper and deeper, and the tool tries to follow the things you add, like the complexity you add to your project. Like we believe like, okay, like, you can make a very easy to use tool, like very intuitive, like nowadays it's a bit of the trend. We make like a lot of white space, big buttons,
Sure.
like easy to use and but then we feel like work is not simple. Work is complex. Like work is a complex situation. Like you cannot simplify all the type of work people have to face in their daily life to just a task with an assignee and a due date. We felt like this is not enough to summarize like what work is. And so we really wanted to give the opportunity to people to as they get used to the tool, they can really like customize it more and more and more to really be able to handle the specifics of their work, the complexities of their work. And we feel like this is something very important, that we need to accept that work cannot just be something like organizing work. When I'm talking about work, I'm talking like about organizing work. It's not something which can be just simplified to simple task management. You have many other aspects, and we really wanted to get this tool, like can start from like we will like be with you along your journey towards like like the work you have to tackle. So that's really something we wanted to provide, like
And I can add some things to this too, as the newest member of Team Kantree, because I'm not a developer, and I joined knowing what the tool was, but there was some lead-in time, and I found it very intuitive to use, and I could pick it up really quickly. And so that's what you talked about. For simple tasks, you can really get in there without the IT knowledge. But then if you want, or if you need to, you can really go deep. We do offer training for people who want to be certified in Kantree as advanced users. And this is something we offer to either digital transformation consultants or agile coaches or team leaders that want to help their teams. Even though you technically don't need a lot of tech knowledge to deal with Kantree because it's supposed to be easy to use. But if you want to dig deeper, you can, and we are here to help you with that.
And we have some users who really love to go deep in the product. Like it's like we really see some crazy scenarios, and this is something we're really proud of to have, that we see people, like found their way and are able to really like create their dream of a process, of a workflow, of whatever they wanted to do, but they couldn't do it elsewhere, and they went the deep end in Cantri, and when we see these kind of scenarios, it's something we're very proud of.
No, that's very cool. Do you want to talk about the different views? Because I think obviously on no matter what side of the table you're kind of coming from at a different product or whatever you're trying to build, having the different layouts based on who you are in the project or being able to switch to them is actually quite useful. So do you want to talk about the different layouts and the options people have there?
Sure. So that's what we thought was like a key aspect of the work as a team. Like not everybody in your team has the same role. It's like you have people with different perspective on a project. Like for example, on a simple product team, like I come from this background, so I will use my own experience. Like it's like you have a product design, you have a designer, you have developers, you have a tester, you have the project manager, you have we say a mobile developer, which does not the same work as like the application developer. Anyway, you have these many different roles, and they all have what they get out of the project, of the organization of the project is different. Like a designer needs to focus on the task, like about sharing images and like what is it to do. A developer has different stuff, and the product manager needs like a global vision of what's happening and stuff like that. So they all have their own like perspective into the project, and this is something we really wanted to take into account. And so we created this system of views, which allows to create really like into the same project different ways to look at the project. Using like we have, for example, like we use Kanban, so it's a way to see like tasks in a column-based layout. We have a more classical like table spreadsheet view. We have a timeline kind of Gantt view, which like if you come from a more classical project management background, you will be more familiar with, and a calendar view, and we have reportings and stuff like that. So really different like ways to look into the data of a project. And this can all be customized and configured very easily. As we try to make all this very intuitive, and so that every member of the team can get a personalized view into what's going on in the project, and so they don't feel overwhelmed by the amount of work that may be going on across the team. And one important aspect of that you can have a single project and everybody working as part of this project with their own perspective, in that everybody is actually working in the project. Because what we see often at the moment is that you have the project manager who have the overall vision, has the task list for everybody, but this is not really shared with every member of the team. Perhaps they will assign tasks to somebody and stuff like that, and they will only tell them do that, but then the developer does not really know what the designer is working on. Only the project manager makes the liaison between people. So what we wanted is like everybody works together in Cantri, but then you can have your perspective, your view into the project, what really interests you. But at any time, if you want to jump into like a task done by a designer, what you can actually participate in things which does not really immediately concern you. But we feel like when you're part of a team, like it's important to be able to know what every member of the team is doing, and being able to share knowledge and idea and like opinions between team members to create this like this team energy that you need to really push a project to the end.
This is an example of how our own culture here at the startup Digicoop that developed Kantree, how that translates into the product, because we are all about transparency and that openness and making decisions together, and that is reflected in the product.
Interesting. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that in a few minutes, but a couple other things that I found unique about the product from my perspective anyway was part of the problem sometimes, especially in agile development, everybody obviously wants their feature in as soon as possible, and that's fair enough. I'm in the same boat. But knowing how adding features based on your velocity can push out timelines and everything, and being able to switch kind of between this traditional kind of card or table view into a timeline view as you're moving things around, and you can see, oh, like if we add this feature before this other feature, it delays that first feature by a period of time, right? And being able to make those calls in the different views is actually really useful, and it's easier to get kind of the management or whoever's making the decisions to actually kind of understand the implications of making some of those changes, right? Do you maybe want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, indeed. Sometimes that's one of the aspects also have being able to have this multiple perspective inside a project. Like multiple perspective implies like really sometime but like you say, like visualizing your project on a timeline will give you a very different idea of where you stand compared to seeing a spreadsheet, for example.
Yeah.
And so being able to switch from one to the other in like one single click, and the data, if you update the data on the timeline, you immediately update the other one, like all is the same data, like that's something like people appreciate a lot and really can help to solve bottlenecks sometime and these kind of things. That's really something indeed that a lot of our customers appreciate a lot, to be able to have the same data and quickly change the way you see it, like is often something very appreciated.
Very cool. Do you guys also do some pretty detailed reports? Do you want to talk about reporting?
So, but like a lot of our customer base is quite large companies, and so reporting is a core part of like their project management. I guess like reporting is important of course, it's important like in every kind of project management. Like you need to know where you stand, like or did you keep track of your project and things like that. So but based on like our it's always, we follow always the same development, what do you say, the same product vision. Like we always want to create something which is each the users who have the power to decide how to make it, how to customize it, something always very flexible. So our reporting system like is built with this in mind. So you can like, I guess like the easiest way to talk about it is to think about Excel. In Excel, when you create a chart, you select the data in your spreadsheet and you generate the chart based on this data. So we went with the same mindset. We really wanted people to be able to create charts based on the data they have in their project. So we propose some charts and some automated reports to help people and things like that. But you can also create charts based on any kind of all of your data in your project. So if you create different priorities level, different dates for different due dates for different type of milestones or whatever, you can create charts for all this data you have. And we really wanted to make a very flexible chart system who people will feel at ease, or we feel familiar if you come from Excel, because a lot of the big companies, they come from spreadsheets, like right. They're used to spreadsheets, all their data in spreadsheets. And when they come to like online tools on what, like reporting is usually kind of a pain, and they feel like they need to export back to a spreadsheet to do their actual reporting. So like this is something we wanted to avoid. We really wanted to keep people in the tool, and having the experience to work with all these large companies, we knew early on that this is a feature which we need to focus on, and so we have done the work on this, and usually like our customers are pretty happy with the reporting system. Although we also integrate very well with like other business intelligence tool, and we have full like Excel export for some use case, which I will admit we don't cover. But like overall, we believe like our reporting system is one of the most flexible you can find on online platforms like that.
Very cool. And the activity journal is actually quite interesting too, because I think as you're working on a project and people are either away or the team grows, it's really hard to know what everybody else is working on and stay kind of current with the new features and maybe changes or bug fixes that are rolling out. And so having kind of a daily activity journal was actually really kind of interesting.
Exactly. So this is usually a big pain in a company. You know, you go on a holiday for 1 week or whatever, and you come back, and how do you update yourself? You have to ask people around or read through like hundreds of email or whatever. It's often really hard to update. And I say 1 week holiday because I know we're talking to a US based,
Sure.
but from France sometimes can be 3 weeks holiday, you know, like so. It's even harder to update yourself when you come back from 3 weeks holiday. So,
Sure.
so this is still for us like 70% of our customer base is European. So like this use case of people having long vacation is real. So we had to take this into account. So yeah, a way to when you can come back from or you're working on multiple projects. This is also like something which happened a lot. And you're coming back to a project and you want to quickly see what happened the last week or whatever, and be able to say, okay, I just want to see what people have modified or what new tasks have been added during the last week. We make it very easy to know this kind of information, to have a summary of what happened. And so, yeah, like as always, very easy for people to collaborate together. And having this information collaboration is not only like editing or creating new information, is also be able to keep track of what other people are doing. And so this was an important part of it, especially for remote teams. Like
Sure.
we are remote also, and so like so having a way to keep track of what everybody is doing when you haven't worked on a project for a day or like even 2 days, like is something very practical.
Sure. You guys also have a bunch of integrations. Do you want to talk about some of the integrations and how they work with Cantri?
Sure. So, but like the biggest one, I guess, is with Slack.
Sure.
So I don't know if I have to present Slack. I guess not at that
I think
point.
most people know Slack.
And so Slack, yeah, we are very we work. I would say it's complementary. Cantri is very complementary to Slack. So we don't offer any like chat system inside Cantri. We really wanted to focus on project management, collaboration, and sharing like structured data. And we felt like chat is another way, is completely another way to collaborate. And we focus more on creating an integration with Slack to complement the two aspects of collaboration.
Sure.
And then we have also integrations with like all the most popular like storage drive system online, so Google Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft Office 365. And then GitHub for developers, exactly. We will add more integration soon. It is not like I will be honest, like at the moment, it's not our strong suit. Like we have integration with the most popular services, but it's still something we're building on, and we will add in the coming months much more integration with other services.
And
Very
to
cool.
add something to that, to the features that are planned or we're working on, we do have a public roadmap where we invite our users to vote on items that are currently being worked on or proposed, or they can suggest more features. This is something that we link to on our website. So we feel like, again, you know, just like with our team where there's lots of collaboration and the whole spirit of Cantri, we invite people to collaborate and be part of this development of our platform.
That's very cool. And you guys have a Android, iOS. Obviously, it works in the browser, but you also have offline support. Why did you think adding offline support was so important?
I guess it's like, but actually it was a quite requested feature. Like
Okay.
we have a lot of people who are on the move often. and it's easy to lose the connection while you're on the train, in the transport or whatever. And so it was actually quite important for a lot of people to be able to not fully use the product. Like we don't offer like full edition while offline, but that people can at least consult their project, like be able to browse their project while offline, and add new stuff, leave comments on stuff, on tasks and things like that. It was something important for a lot of people, and we felt, if we want people to transition from spreadsheet and things like that, which were working like completely offline, we need to be able also to give an alternative to this model. We cannot just say to everybody, okay, no, you need full-time internet connection, and
Right.
or if not, you're not working. Like always something happens. Sometimes you lose connection or what, and then what do we say to people? No, you stop working while you're offline. This, like, I think for people who work like like for anybody who works in like companies and what, you cannot justify just saying I lost my connection, I cannot work anymore. You know, people expect to be able to continue to work in this while offline. So like I guess a proper project management, which you want to be able to use nonstop and rely on, needs to be available offline at the same time.
No, makes total sense. So, do you guys want to maybe give a few more use cases of how some of your clients or types of clients that are using your product?
Sure. So actually a lot of so we have like we said, all the agile project management. So a lot of product development and stuff like that. This is the most common use case, but we have a really large use case of HR people using Kantree.
Okay.
And we really focus on, we had a big focus at some point about making it easy for them to use. So actually, Cantri can be used a lot for example, like recruitment processes, to be able to like manage all the hiring process, from like having a form to collect application, to be able to update the candidates through through the application process, with all the information you have to collect in the card and stuff like that. So this we made very easy. Be able to automate it, all your small HR processes. So this is one of our strong suit. You know, like in every company there is and the larger you go, the more you have, is like you have tens, hundreds of small HR processes, like small requests to ask for a new some specific benefit form, like for any administrative reason or what. Usually you have to find the email of the HR person. You have to send them a first email to ask them what to do. They will send you back some kind of like form you have to fill up. And like, then you don't hear from them for some time because like they're processing, but you don't know what's happening. And then like you will be updated whatever point in time. Like, it's all very frustrating for the people, like having to go through this process. And for the HR person is like having to manage everything through emails can be really tedious. So we really, like, Cantri makes it easy to automate, like to at least like industrialize all these small processes. Like you can very easily create a small project in Cantri to create the process. Like you add like a different column for all the steps of your process. You create a form that you just publish on your company space, and then people can just start like looking for forms, like they look for the administrative reason, whatever. They look the form they need to fill up. They fill up the form. It ends up in your project. You're notified, and you just have to then like move the card from step to step. We will take care of notifying the people who did the demand. Like you don't need to take care of all these aspects of managing your process. You just like receive the demand, handle it, and we take care of the notification, making sure everything is filled up properly. So this is a use case which is growing in popularity in our customer base, and now we're seeing some of our large customers like who use Cantri for HR more and more, and we're spreading into the HR department because like they can really see the use case of for the first time, like HR people have a tool which they can use by themselves without any IT assistance, any help from their IT department or what. they can just start to automate their own processes, and it saves them a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it all makes it much more easy. So this is one of our big use cases right now.
Speaking of use cases, on our blog, we started adding client stories. If there are listeners who are interested in this, right now what we have is, for example, one company using Cantri for HR management, not just recruiting, but management. There's a startup that uses us for business development, and they have been with us since the beginning of their existence. And also a large multinational group that uses Cantri across teams. So really there's this versatility and flexibility. So I invite you to check out the blog on Kantree.io and see for yourself if there's some sort of inspiration for using the tool.
Very cool. So you guys have kind of two versions, a cloud and an enterprise version. Do you want to talk about each version and how are they similar and different?
Sure. But the cloud version is it's a classic like SaaS, so software as a service solution. So it's like you have a 30 days free trial, and then it's pay per month. There's no contract. It's very easy to use. So very easy to get started, very easy to invite your team, try out the product, and no commitment. The most popular version. And then for larger customer or customers with sensitive data, let's say, we offer an enterprise version, what we call our enterprise version, which actually two offers. Like there is a fully on-premise option, so you install Cantri on your own server, or we host Cantri in a dedicated private cloud for you. So it's an independent environment just for you, for your data, but we manage it for you, so you have nothing to do. And so this is quite popular. We have some banks actually. We work with some banks, so very sensitive data, some medical companies, but we have a big nuclear company also we're working with.
Interesting.
So all companies with kind of sensitive data, and they are not comfortable, or their policies does not allow them to really use software as a service. And so we provide an alternative for them.
And a quick note here, since Maxime mentioned the nuclear company, actually they're one of the clients that enjoy having this offline access on their phones. A lot of their workers cannot use Wi-Fi on the premises. So if they need to update some things, they do it without Wi-Fi, and then it's synchronized.
Interesting. So we touched on it a little bit earlier, but you guys have a unique corporate culture that I think companies are at least thinking about doing. So do you want to talk about how you guys are structured and how you're quite different from the traditional company model?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this because since I'm the person writing our blog, I recently wrote something called A Look into Our Uncorporate Culture. That's what we decided to call it. I'm sure Maxime can tell you a lot more, but being a small team, we can easily make decisions together. And if you go to our website, the first thing you'll see is that we talk about collective intelligence. And this is sort of something that we live by.
Exactly. So that's why when we founded the company, that's something, it's one of our core value, and is really this collective intelligence aspect, believing is as a group all together that we're stronger and more intelligent than rather that just the independent member of the group, is all together that will succeed. And so we made the company as a worker cooperative, meaning every employee has actually is owner of the company. So we all co-own the company. So everybody has a say. Everybody has access to finances. Everybody can really feel they're in charge of their role. We all have our role in the company. I don't do marketing. I have no idea how to do that. And Pola does not do development.
And then I drag him to radio.
Yeah. But we're all in this together, and that's really the spirit. So although we don't do the job of the other, we are all interested in what everybody is doing, and we all feel like we want to make the company succeed all together. And so we really work toward this way. So this really implies like full transparency, being able to understand what everybody is doing, and knowing also to share what you're doing with the other is also a very important aspect of it. And transparency, like being able to know every aspect of the company, because if you need to take decision about in your job, in your role, or a decision about the company as a whole, like sometimes we have to take all together some important decision for the what you say, the life of the company, in the life of the company, like you need the full information for it. So transparency is something very important. And this, we believe, like in larger businesses, something is sometimes lacking. Like without like really good transparency, the decision you may take may be only partial, and so like not as good as it may have been.
We all came from some sort of corporate background, and we all didn't always love everything about that. And I think this is why a lot of us enjoy this collaboration, having more of a say, not having 10 managers over your head, and actually feeling like everything you do really matters, that you are a big part of the company and its success.
And to make this happen, so that's why the worker cooperative was important for us, because to make this happen, to really have this feeling that you are responsible, and like you share the responsibility of everything. We needed to show, like, you cannot say that to people. Like, you cannot hire people and tell them like you have full responsibility in your job, you have autonomy and things like that, but then you get no benefit out of the success of the company. So having a company which we all own together means like profit is shared between all the employees, that we all get the benefit of the company. Like us as founder, we don't like get more benefit than any of the employee we hire after. Like we all get the same. So that was an important value for us. Like we think like even people we hire after us, we hire them because we need them, and so we share the benefit with them as much as with everybody else.
And again, speaking as the newest member of the team, this is something that really drew me to this company as opposed to some of the others. And so far, so good.
No, that's awesome. So what does remote first mean to you guys? Because it's a little bit of a take on the remote worker, but the remote first, I think, is a newer term that some people might not have heard of yet.
Okay, well, my free translation of that is you can work from a beach in Thailand if there's Wi-Fi. The general idea is that, there are corporations that allow you to have one day of working from home. There's a remote policy. But remote first goes way beyond that, and it's really giving people the freedom to work from anywhere they want, from wherever they feel they are most productive. And this again goes back to our core values of this transparency and being in this together. There's a certain trust. You don't need to clock in at 8 a.m. or do the 9 to 5. You still do the hours. But if you need to see a doctor or run an errand in the morning, it's okay. Come in, stay a little later, be fair.
Yeah, and so the remote first, what also we understand, like what we mean also by remote first is the whole company has to then be able to support remote work, because often when you see like that's what I was saying, like a lot of companies have perhaps the two days a week, you work remote 2 days a week. But what we see a lot, if they have this policy and at the same time none of the rest of the work will be organized to be able to perform remotely.
Yeah.
Like when you end up working at home or wherever you work from on these 2 days, like you don't have access to perhaps the whiteboard you have in the office,
Yep.
or the papers you have on your desk. And then what do? Like you feel you have to go to your office to actually perform your work. That's a big problem. So remote first is also a lot about like saying like, even if you work in the office, you have to assume like you have to work in the same way that you work at home, and assume that you will not be at the office on some days. So no paper on your desk, and we are a no paper company. We never print anything. If we receive something, we scan it, we throw away the paper. So that way everything can be accessed from anywhere. There is really no constraint to having, I forgot paper somewhere, or I have to look into something. This never happens to us. And then all the work also, we have no whiteboard on the wall. Of course, we use Cantri to manage our company, but then everything is online. All our documents are online, all our communication are online. So this is really important. But we do have an office. Like I like to work from the office, for example. I come to the office almost every day. But my other coworker, like he does not like to come to the office, and I see him perhaps like half a day or 1 day a week.
Okay, interesting.
And we have to think about the way we organize the work, that both of us can perform the same way, whatever the location. So the office becomes a location like anywhere else. It is not a special location where we have more paper or more organization than anywhere else. It's just become a desk like you will work from home, from a coffee, or everywhere.
Office is a state of mind.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You guys also have a unique kind of vision for the future with open source kind of environment. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So open source has always been like one of our goals. Also, we feel like we know some companies really fully attempt the open source business model, and it works for some people. We were a bit scared like about trying to be open source from the start. So we start closed source. Soon, our goal is to open source the code with our customer as a first step. So the code will be open for all our customers, and they will be able to participate in the development of Cantri. They want to suggest like update, fixes, or what, they will be able to participate. We'll integrate them, but more as a private community to start. And then if this works well, if we see like we can really build a business model around open source, we have this ambition to go fully open source. But it will not be something short term. It's something we really have to consider on the business model aspect of things. And you know, when you see lately, like in the SaaS world, there is a lot of talk about like a lot of open source projects being cannibalized by the big corporation and stuff like that. Like they reuse open source project without contributing as much as perhaps they should. And so this is something which scares us a little. Like we don't have the power, you know, to the money to face a company like a million times bigger than us. So if they decide to suddenly propose our project as propose Cantri, an open source version of Cantri as part of the services, like what could we do? You know, like
interesting.
You can sue as much as you want. Like that won't change much. So we really want to address go open source in a very practical way of things, not only an ideological way of things. Also, that would be the best, but like we try to be practical thinker, and so like if we can really see we can build a sustainable business model around a fully open source version of Cantri, we'll definitely go towards it. And but we will go baby steps, and first open source for our customer, and then if this works, open source fully.
Very cool. So I'm curious. I want to talk a little bit about how did you guys actually get this Cantri built? Did you guys self-fund? Did you raise some money? Walk us through how you actually got it built.
So yeah, we started like, so it's fully built like by us. We started being self-funded for a few years. So the beginning, like for the first year, it was fully self-funded. Then we managed to get our first client, first customers. And lucky enough, we managed to get our first super large customer quite early.
Nice.
Which found after a lot of the development for the next year. And then like I believe it was 2 years or 2 years and a half in the project, like in the company. We raised a little bit of money. So we always had this idea to stay bootstrap as much as possible. So that's always the goal. So we raised around 350,000 euros. So I guess almost the same in dollars.
Sure.
But we like the specificity is like we actually took a loan more like it's not a VC investment,
Right.
because we wanted to keep the full ownership of the company with the spirit of being a workers cooperative and stuff like that. It was really hard to have an investors, because investors means you need to do an exit.
Right.
And an exit means you need either to sell the company or go public, and this does not fit at all with a company being owned by your employee. And so we really want to build a company for the long term, which is built to make a really great solution for our customers and a great environment for our employee, like both stuff at the same time, not one or the other. And so we believe that keeping ownership of the company with not having to be forced in some kind of exit was the way to go. So we got this money through like some private investors a little bit, but they invested in some specific investment contract, which does not get them ownership, but just pay them interest, and they're happy about that. And they support our vision. That was important for us.
Interesting. So how do you guys decide what features to actually build? It sounds like you guys pretty much poll the community, or is it a little bit of what the employees say, or how does that kind of work?
It's a mix of both, I would say. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to be very I would say to listen a lot to our customers. So we often do feedback session with our customers. We visit them, or they visit us in our offices. We invite them to come, and we will do a full day with them to see their pain points with the software, the issue they have, in what direction would they wish the software will go, and all this kind of stuff. So really try to create an environment where the customer feel they actually can participate in the development of the product. So actually, some customers, the largest customer, were like pretty active. We see them I don't know, every 2 months in person. We go see them, and we have a session with them to really see what's happening, what's their team doing with Cantri and stuff like that. And so they really feel happy. They feel involved, and they feel like they have the software will be built. They can see where we're going, and they can feel that it's the good direction, and that we don't let them. We have not sell them just something and then abandon them and stuff like that. They really get involved. And then we have the whole online, like Pola was saying, the online roadmap where people can suggest features, they can vote on features, they can comment and stuff like that. So all the history of the features we have developed you can see it there. You can go back through the history of what we have done. You can see what we have planned to do, what we're doing at the moment, and things like that. So you can really participate. We welcome any kind of comments, any kind of suggestions, and things like that. Very important to us. And then, of course, there is our work we have to do inside the company. We have our vision of what Cantri should be. The vision, we believe, should be ours. Our customers get to say what they need, what they believe the direction of the product should be and what. But the vision we want to give the product will always be ours. And so our work is to always listen to our customers, see how does it fit in our vision, how can we provide solution to their problems, and we do that permanently. And on top of this, we have the experience to talk to many different companies. Usually, when we talk with one company, they will give us their suggestion, which is very appreciated, but it's just from their point of view. And sometimes actually they will benefit from the point of view of another customers who do things differently, and it may help them and stuff like that. So our job is to combine the feedbacks from all these companies to create the best software which can which can fit the many type of work you encounter in all the companies and the many type of working of organization and stuff like that.
Very cool. So what advice would you give to startups or any other company that's looking to land their first few clients, especially a big client, because you guys obviously pulled it off?
There is a big part of luck. I won't lie.
Okay.
But a bit of the network also. So like our first client was part of the network. We heard that like they needed some kind of product like ours and what. And so after is like calling, like try to make your network happen, like activate your network to get the call with the right person. And then is about being ready, like prepare the interview, prepare the product, and be able to work with them. Like usually, I think the hardest to work with larger companies is the time factor. Like it's much longer than a smaller company. Although they pay much more, like the contract are much larger. But the time investment is really great. So you have to be ready for that and be patient. And there is no way you will kind of speed it up by pushing them. Like usually they have their processes, they have the stuff they need to respect internally. So it's more like work with them. Perhaps we feel like we have great success with being able to set up like smaller proof of concept situation, POC situations where you set up an experiment with for limited scope with one team or something like that, and then grow from there. I think like the network is the most important aspect of it, and then once you have the few first customers, then you activate all their contacts, things like that. So we organize, after we got the two first large customer, we organize like morning sessions, coffee shops where we invite their customers, and like when we try to invite other potential leads for us. And so it creates like an ecosystem when they can talk to each other and convince each other that Cantri is a good solution for them, that we don't have to do all the work,
Smart.
So.
Well, Kevin, you can ask us again in a few months, because our next little frontier is the States. Like I mentioned before, I'm from Chicago, and I'm going there soon. And we'll see if I can. Well, I'm actually listening to Maxime and taking notes.
Nice.
To see, what might happen in the States.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other advice for entrepreneurs kind of starting out or at any point in their journey that they should do or don't do?
Well, it's a good question. That's always hard. Like I think perseverance is a key. Being able to last to be able to go through all the hardships that may come. Like it was not always easy, and there's times where you're really doubting what you're doing, especially when you decided, a bit like us, to go on a path which is not so common. We could have gone the more like traditional startup way and accept like a lot of VC like investment, like it was proposed to us and we refused it because we believed in the values we are defending. So I think like, believe in your values, but like that is never enough. Like work hard at the same time, I think like always keep a practical mind, and sometimes like perfect is not needed, like good enough will do. And as long as it does not against your values,
And also surround yourself with the right people, not just in terms of going out there to network and to spread the word about your product or your vision, but also the people that you work with, whether you are a team that's always in the office or a remote distributed team like we are. Because, given how much time we spend together working on the same projects, you have to have the support. You have to have your back if you're going to build a company from the ground up.
That's a very good point. Like hiring is essential, and And we don't hire based only on skills. You have to hire based on also the human factor, like especially in, like we were talking about creating a trust environment, like being able to be fully transparent, like having full confidence into every member of the team. So to do this, like hiring is very important, and like hiring somebody which is really good at their job is not enough. Like people need to be good at their job, but also like good at like communicating with other, good at sharing what they're doing, at being able to be trustable, and also feeling that they can get involved into every other aspect of the company. So this is something important, that they share the vision and the values you're defending. And this can be quite challenging to hire for this, but like I guess it's very important if you have a very like unique vision for your company and you want to create a great culture, like you need to consider like a culture is the human aspect of it. The skills does not matter in the culture aspect of your company. It's all about the human who make it. So this is really important.
Very cool. But we're kind of coming to the end of the show. So let's close with mentioning where people can get more information about you guys, the free trial, and any other links you want to mention.
Oh, yes. Kantree.io. Come to the homepage, click on that red button that says try for free. Of course, you can scroll down and click on the French version if you want to practice your French a little bit. But I would I would invite you to take a look at our blog, because this is something that we have been really working on lately. You'll be able to learn more about us and that culture we have, and get a lot of tips for using the product once you sign up for the trial. So check us out there. And I'm not sure if I can speak for the whole team, but I live on Twitter. So our handle there is Kantree app. So come give us a follow, say hi, and we'll talk to you. In English or French, whatever you want.
Very cool. And it's Kantree, just for the spelling. So
that's correct.
Perfect, guys. Well, I really appreciate you both taking the time of your day to be on the show, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Please visit our website at buildingthefutureshow.com to join the free community, sign up for our newsletter, or to sponsor the show. The music is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com and keep building the future.